Wine woke up with a bad feeling. She didn't know what it was, but as her husband left for work, the anxiety got even bad. She sighed. She should have told her husband, but then he would insist on staying with her, and she didn't want to interrupt his work. She sat on the floor in front of a table and added the flowers in the pot carefully. The flowers Jungkook gifted her last night. No special event. He just loved to shower her with random gifts, flowers, and chocolates. Last time, he bought her a camera because he loved photography. Her phone pinged, and she grabbed it happily, thinking it was a text from her husband. But it was her mother. Me and your dad are coming for lunch. Are you home? She replied with a yes, you're welcome, and sighed. It's not like she was not happy to meet her parents. It's just she was not on a really good terms with them. Her father was abusive as long as she could remember, and her mother would just ignore everything. She got up and asked the maids to prepare a nice lunch for her parents and went to take a shower. She took off her husband's huge shirt she was wearing. He loved it, wearing his clothes all day long, and he loved it more. She took a shower and got ready, and went to kitchen and checked the dishes. In the meantime, the doorbell rang as one of the maids went to open the door. Why texted Jungkook informing them of her parents' arrival. She put on a smile and stepped out of kitchen. Wine. Oh, mom, dad. Good afternoon. She greeted them gently, and as always, her father was busy eyeing the maids and the luxury of her home. She ignored, as always. Wine. Please, come, take a seat. Bora, is your husband at work? Her mother asked as she took a seat. Wine. Yes. If he knew you were coming, I'm sure he would stay to welcome you. Wine said with a smile. Honestly, she just texted Jungkook not to come home and focus on his work instead. She didn't like their company filled with taunts and mocks and didn't want Jungkook to be a part of it. Her husband runs low on patience. One wrong remark against Wine and he blows up. She simply didn't want to ruin his mood. Eugen. He had enough time to come though, unless he didn't want to come back. Her father mocked, and she tried her best not to be offended. Wine. It's not like that, Dad. I didn't inform him. He had meetings, he gets busy around these days. Eugen. Of course. Now you throw it in our faces. You married a rich man. He rolled his eyes. Wine sighed and shook her head. Wine. Let's have some lunch, shall we? She stood up. Wine. Maria, please set the table. Thank you. Wine urged her parents to move to dining table. She followed them while checking her phone, and she had at least 18 messages from Jungkook demanding a reply, with the last one saying he is coming back. She almost laughed. Then this big guy says he's not cute. She didn't stop him now, knowing he must be on his way. She took a seat and served her parents with lunch. Wyatt, it was surprising you guys came, but I'm glad, anyways. Bora, we came to talk about something. There it was, the bad feeling again. Ryan, talk about what, Mom? Eugene, we want you to divorce Jungkook. She stilled, her body unable to move. She needed time to believe what she heard was right. Ryan, why is that? She asked calmly, gracefully. Bora, there is a potential here to our business partner. He has eyes on you. We want you to marry him. Ryan, okay. You want me to divorce my husband to marry another man for your business and money, Eugene. Or you could ask your man to give us the money promised by them, and he stays your husband. He said, showing a huge piece of chicken in his mouth. Wine chuckled, out of disbelief, and fell back in her seat. Wine, you guys understand this is ridiculous, and you both make no sense to me. Bora, what's so hard to understand? It's simple and clear. You both don't have children yet. You can start off clean with another man. Do you want to see his picture? He's young and handsome. Eugen, we have done enough for you, girl. Is it too much to ask? You should do something for us too. Vine dug her face in her hands. She didn't want Jungkook to come back anymore. If he heard any of this nonsense, he won't sit quiet. Vine, I think you should finish your meal and go back home. Maria will see you off to the door. Oh, and please don't forget the dessert. I got it ready specially for you two. She stood up and turned to leave. Her father grabbed her wrist harshly and pulled her back. Eugene, what's so wrong about the deal? It was not a request. You are doing as we said. Ryan, I'm not only your daughter now. I'm a wife and my husband wouldn't like it. Plus, let me add, I am an adult and clearly capable of taking my own decision. Please stop with this act now, before I take legal actions. She tried her best not to wince at his strong hold against her wrist. She was definitely going to have marks, and that will be another thing her husband won't like. Mayan, leave me right now. She got slapped in return. Her eyes got wide open as her face swung to other side. The slap was powerful, and it gave her such strong pain that tears prickled at the corners of her eyes. But she didn't cry. She was not going to. Eugene, you'll take legal actions against your parents now? You grew up this much that you'll threaten us with your husband? You are still a child. You understand? Jungkook, if you don't leave her in next 2 seconds, you'll face my wrath. A low, deep voice came out of her husband, who stood by the doorframe. The voice sent shivers down her spine. It held the power to make people dig their own graves. Yujun left her hand instantly, and Wine believed. He felt the terror too. Jungkook, take 3 steps to your right, love. She gulped and did as he said. Step to her right, and she swore her heart jumped out of her chest at his next move. Blood in his eyes, storm over his head, as he took out the gun and shot in her father's way before anyone could even blink. To be continued.